It's been a while. I think our last meeting was March of last year. So it's been about 14 months. Time flies, we're having fun. Okay, Ernie's traveling around the country. I think some of you know if you've listened to his radio show at all. And hopefully we'll have Ernie come when he gets back in town and tell us about his travels.
When's he supposed to be back?
I think they're coming back around September, October. They'll probably be here for the Thanksgiving and all that. That'd be my guess. If I had to guess. The Love Bus Tour. I've got.
Just give me time out. Somebody's phone is going off. Can somebody kill the alarm or whatever it is that's going off on their phone?
Okay. If you. I have a couple of websites. Let's see if I can find it here.
Hey, Gertrude.
If you go to mailaz.com, I've been posting things on COVID-19, cryptocurrency, news items. So if I come across something that I want to post, I just do it. So sometimes I'll do 2 or 3 days, sometimes I won't do it for 3 or 4 days. How busy I am.
Stop it.
Okay, but
Let him hear us.
but the
I was trying to close the gap.
don't worry about it. There's a lot of information on here about COVID-19, vaccines, just articles going clear back. Dr. Judy Mikovits, some of you know who she is. She spoke at the Vaccine Education Summit, first one that Ernie had. That's when I met her. And then she spoke at the last summit we had. We're missing our videographer today because Michael's now working with me at the lakeside. That's 200 miles away, so he's not going to drive down here just to do the video. Unless, of course, we can pay him to do that. And it does cost to come back and forth. So I'm just running the amateur camera back there. We'll post the video afterward. If you go onto my main site, MailAZ, down here's some websites, domains. You see Arizona Breakfast Club here. If we click on that, that's the main page for Arizona Breakfast Club. And just for a notice, Frank Rickey died. And I think he's attended the Breakfast Club from about the beginning. So I put his obituary up if you want to read that. He will be missed. And no more free books. He used to hand the books out to people from the drawing at the end of the meetings. But I post the information about a meeting as soon as I have it. I know that next month, Dr. Frank Tambury said he would be here. So we'll probably have a meeting, and we'll talk about this at the end of the meeting today because our speaker has to leave early, and I'll let her get started. But we can talk about future meetings and what the plans might be. So it's been a while since we met, and of course the restaurants were closed, and wearing masks, and sitting 40 feet apart, and whatever else the stupidity called for. But yeah, it's turned out to be total fraud, and that's my opinion. Of course, I don't want them to take my video down, so I got to be careful what I say, right? Anyway, our speaker is Roxy. She'll be speaking about people's rights, and I did that website up here. She can explain the organization. Anybody can go here and sign up. The idea is mainly communication between people in local areas. If somebody's rights are being violated, they put out the word, and we get people together to come and stand up for people. Yes.
Is that People's Rights website attached to the other one that you were showing us? The Arizona.
No, I need to put it up there.
What was the website, the first one?
The nice thing about Opera is I can create my own icons within Opera.
Oh, mailing.
So I put in under people under individual rights. I got people's rights and some other things in here. Patrick Wood's organization. He may speak at a meeting. I'll have to ask him. But in any event, Roxy, I'll let you begin if you'd like. And probably have the sound. I usually have a wireless mic, but we don't have those today. So we have to hold this a little close to the mouth. I'm sure the, good. I want to get the camera to do that, so.
Hi, you guys. I'm glad to be here. I joined People's Rights because a cousin had told me about a way to find out who's in your neighborhood that is like-minded. And I have been a prepper for 10 years and belong to this camp out, the sheepdogs. And we have learned so much that you can bring it on, take the lights out, take whatever out, I'm ready. And so that's what got me started in preparing. But I also, as a single person and a mother, I just recently got married, but as a single mother, I didn't know how I was going to defend my stuff. How am I going to take care of it? I have guns, but I barely know how to use them efficiently. But anyway, so because of finding this out about people's rights, I thought, this sounds like something I'd want to be in. I kind of thought it was going to be a little bit different, and I got into it. I went ahead and went as far as to become an AA, which is an area assistant. We need a lot of people, AAs, SAs, state assistant, field assistants. So anyway, I got into this, and I'm full-flooded into it. I love it. I love what they do. I love meeting the people. I love everything about it. I have so many other things I could be doing right now, but because of people's rights, I would be here to do this. I love it, and I think you guys will too. How many people in here are members of People's Rights already? Huh? So it won't take you very long. We could just get right down to it right now. If you're not afraid, if you're not afraid, then what you can do, and these cards, it shows you, I'm not a technical person like you. So for me, I just went to peoplesrights.org and then joined. Now, you can also go in and do, if you're good at texting and stuff, you would text rights to 80123. And then that would put you into it. You join, and once you join, you can be whatever you want to be. Do you want to be, say I don't have it in me to do a lot. I can't go out and speak. I can't walk into the rallies. I can't do this. But no matter what, there's phone calls you can make. There's letters you can write. There's just so many things. You can donate. Help us out by donating. So there's a job. There's something for everybody to do that. And so I'm good with that.
Roxy, do you want us to wait on questions? What? You want us to hold off on questions?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I just want to know, will you or Holly go to? Will you or Holly go to a neighborhood and do a presentation?
Of course.
One more thing.
How do you think I got here? Holly wrangled me. It's going to help me become a better person.
I understand there is a shortage on ammo and back orders. Now, I want to know, for my friend wants to know, are we allowed to purchase grenades?
Well, I am in people's rights, and I do believe if you want to have a grenade and if you want to have it for your purposes, then it's whatever you want to do. But people's rights is not about that. We are only here to guard your rights. We are here to help protect each other's rights. How do we do that? How do we do that? You think about Ammon, Bundy. You think about Ammon and McCoy, Tenenbaum. You think about the Hammonds. They had a lot of people up there that BLM was taking their land. BLM back then was hired by us to help manage our land. They turned around and took it over, and they tell us what we can do. That's not right. We need to stand up for our rights. So because Ammon called for help, and they had enough ranchers that would come to their rescue, they were able to save their property. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are up on it, but LeBoy Tenenbaum, he lost his life. He was shot 3 times in the back. But he, we need to stand, and if they take this stand, we can take this stand. There's no reason that we cannot get in there and stand for our country. This country was given to us by God. It is our job to be a good steward, and people's rights, I mean, you can be a good steward in many ways. So if you belong to Arizona, or Arizona Stands United, we the people, you're still doing your job, but this does not take from that. This doesn't take from anything else. All this is a way to back our rights. Talking about backing our rights, hey, we have a guy in Cave Creek who owns a t-shirt shop. And he was there, he had on his door during the COVID, he had on his door no mask. And some guy came in there, knowing what was going on, went in there and harassed him. And so much that, I believe his name was Brian, asked him to leave. And he used some unchoice words and threw him to the ground. Brian got his gun and said, "Now you leave." Now, after that, the cops were called in. The cops took a report, they put it on the shelf, and they never did anything with it. Somebody from People's Rights heard what was going on. He was being harassed by phone calls, which they suspected to be Antifa or BLM. He was being harassed, so somebody in that area made an SOS call. Now we have that thing on our ability on our site, and I will go over that. But she made an SOS call. It came out to the people in her area, in his area. They went and vetted it, found out that this is a real right that's been stepped on, and we need to help. We don't just run out to everything that we can't help. So how did they help? They sent out a thing, you send it out on your phone, as many people who can come in to help meet there. And then how do we help? You can bring your guns, but that's not what we're about. We went there, and everybody stands with their cell phone on record. We're taking pictures of everything that goes on. When the cops were there, all the stuff that went on. It made the cops pull the record, the thing off the shelf, investigate it, and they made an arrest. I was going to read that to you, but I've already told you it, so I can't do that. But when you do that,
Was he prosecuted? The arrest, was it prosecuted?
I don't know that yet. But they say he was an Antifa. Who knows? He could have been let off the street, or they paid his bill. I don't know. But anyway, whenever I told you guys, I said about doing your rights to 80123, they will send you back, whether you do it this way or whether you go online and you go to People's Rights and then you join. The number they send you is going to be on your text. The number they send you, you save that number to your contacts. So when you open up your contacts, you save it as whatever you want it to be. For me, I put PR. So what would happen is what would you guys do? Say, you've got children, and you are in foster home, or your children, and then Child Protective Service came to take your kids away because you won't have them vaccinated, or you won't let them go to school with a mask, or whatever reason. What would you do? I mean, are you going to call the police? They wouldn't do a darn thing. They couldn't do it. They wouldn't do anything. But if you were to call us, and we've had this several times, you called us, and at one time I was able to direct that person to a person who had all the information, who adopts kids, fosters kids, and knows all the rights. So I was able to direct her there. But what you're going to do is, if something like that happens, you're going to use your SOS and call for help. And in your SOS, you can also state that, well, you can't, when they call, you'll let them know if it's an emergency that needs to be taken care of now or later. And we also do that, and we decide what action we need to do. And it's usually not just me. It would be me and maybe any other area assistant that could be there at that time to go over it and make that judgment call. So, in Washington, I don't know how many of you heard about the lady who, the daughter took her mother into the hospital because she was experiencing something. They took her in and found out she had a tumor that she was going to die anyway. She said, I want to go home. The hospital would not let her go home because her daughter would refuse to do the COVID shot. She sat right outside, they wouldn't let her in, they wouldn't, and so she couldn't get her mother out. She picked up the phone and she called her AAs. She did a call to action. They sent it out to Utah, Idaho, Arizona, Oregon. All the people that got that called and flooded the hospital with phone calls to let that woman out. They let her out immediately. And this was under a really tough situation where the cops had taken off their name badge and was macing people. Unrightfully. It was wrong. So with that, I'm going to go into trying to show you. Where's my notes? Oh, awesome. Okay.
That's just the main site.
Okay, so this is your people's rights up here.
This is the same screen here. It's easier.
Okay, so you see over here is your, well, that's awesome. So over here, you can go in and just join right here. You can go over here and you log in every single time and put your info in there. You can go to, this is awesome, awesome. So you can go to the newsroom. Let's go to the newsroom. Okay, now the newsroom leaves it open to you. What do you want to do? So I'm going to say newsroom. Okay, why is yours not doing the same as mine?
I'm not logged in, so I can log in if you want.
Okay, well, if you're at home and you're doing this, the newsroom is going to give you area news, or I would like you to log in because I wanted to show what we're doing. So while he's logging in, am I going to lose this? He gave it to me.
How come the two tones are blue?
The what?
The two tones are blue?
I'm going to guess because I put this all in order, but I'm all scattered around with this. Okay, the reason I'm going to guess is people's rights is in 39 states. Okay? There's 435 areas. So say he is area 1, I'm area 2.
Area 5. I'm area 5.
What?
Yeah.
You're in the same? Beautiful. Oh, you got, so you need to get know my brother. I have spoke to you. Okay, I know who you are now. Exactly. Yeah. I wondered why you were talking about that guy on Lakeside. Okay, so I'm in area 1. He's in area 5. I'm excited about that because I will be joining you within a year. I bought property up there and I'm building there. Within a couple months we're going to start. But okay, so you would go over here to the newsroom, and then you can go up here. Okay, newsroom. Okay, it gives you area news or public news. Area news is here. So here's ours. So who's Antifa? That's going to go into our next thing. I'll just do that right now. So we have Zoom classes. Because people's rights is about educating, preparing, and claiming our rights. So we have had all kinds of Zoom classes, and it drives me crazy that the information that we're having is so awesome. I mean, I feel like there's hope, where at one time I didn't know where there was going to be hope. How am I going to, stand up for my rights? But because of and I think I would have to go back quite a ways. But see, this is all the things it shows. Taking action to defend. And this is the guy, Brian, who was hijacked by, not really hijacked, but because he was confronting a senator coming out and talking to her. Somebody else videoed him and put it on Facebook, took it into his boss. They won't let him become a registered nurse. They're stopping him. So he has to wait 2 years to become that. Now, if you were to go into that, he would have, let me find here, so read more, right here. And this is what we do. So here's an opportunity for each of us to do something to make a difference. It's easy, and it's great impact. So here he says that to write a letter to, and you guys can do this. I mean, even if you don't feel you could do more, you can hit all of these things hot and heavy and spread it to your friends and neighbors and get people to help us react. So this just tells you what you can do and who you can call and their numbers. Everything's there for you. All you have to do, some of them are, even the letter is even put in there, what to send. So it's up to you. So let me come back. But Zoom, on Zoom, I can't tell you guys enough that every Zoom class you miss is that much knowledge that you're forfeiting out of your life. Because say, like our first one I taught was on cooking without electricity. What do you do when the lights go out? How are you going to cook? I know I can cook with 3 items and 7 tanks of propane for a year. I know for a fact I can because of the stuff I have, the stuff I prepared. And so that's one thing we taught. Then we taught emergency sanitation. Do you know that when the lights go out that your toilet and all your drains eventually are going to back up, and that's what causes plagues, and that's not me, is it? I thought I turned that on. So plagues start from that. And so we had a class on that. But we had classes on, I don't know if you've heard of Randy Kelton. He's from Texas, and he is a Texas radio lawman. He has come on the radio show, and on that Zoom show, and he taught us that when you have issues with a policeman and they aren't treating you right, they really overstep their bounds, we don't have to resist, we don't have to do anything else. All we have to do is place a complaint. A complaint, after a cop has 6 complaints, there's not another police station that will hire him. His bond is too high. So he taught us that we can make a difference in that way. So the judge, if the judge is being unfair, same thing. If he's got complaints against him, he can't, nobody's going to bond him. Then he can't get a job. Same thing with a lawyer. Same thing. If he's got 6 complaints, the bar won't take him. So we have rights and we have ways to get them from the bottom. We don't have to get them at the top.
Okay, question.
Uh-huh.
Do they check into the complaints or do they take them for what they are?
It doesn't matter. If the complaint was a lousy complaint saying, I don't like the hairs in his nose.
Do they take it for what?
Yep. It doesn't matter. Now, we aren't about trying to take away a person's livelihood. We don't want to do that. We don't want to take away their job. So we're not going to say when I went to Sprouts and I knew better, because the Texas lawman said, don't fight the mask thing. I mean, you can fight it here, but don't go into a person's business and fight it. My husband and I went in and with another group, and of course we were trespassed and we stood out front with 6 cop cars and stuff. But at that time, had I wanted to, we could have put a complaint against the officers. It wasn't right. We didn't do that. But we did put it on here on Area News, and then we put all the names of the people, the corporate for Sprouts. It's a bad place. They've opened up now, though. We put down all the names that you can call or you can write. And so we affected them that way. That's how we make it a difference, is by getting them where it hurts. I don't shop there either. I do now, though. They took the mask off.
Did you have any complaints with the employees in the Sprouts store?
Yes, and some people placed that complaint against Brian.
I think it's wrong to do the employees that are in the store to do
Yeah.
that.
Well, only
And I agree with that. That they don't know any better. They're just following orders and they're just trying to make a living. And so I have never yet, when they say put a mask on, I put it on because it's not them telling me to do it.
right.
It's the fascists that are running the company.
I agree. And that's,
So to make an issue with those individual employees that have to be there day in and day out. Now teachers I have a different issue with,
right.
okay? Because they should know. That's that's their job as educators, is to know the issues, and they don't. But the people that are serving us in grocery stores or hardware stores or Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever it is, they're just like us, and they have no idea what's going on in most cases. That's why I would not advocate filing a complaint against that individual employee. Maybe I would file one against the manager, because he should know better.
And this was the manager, so that's why I said yes. I did not do it, because I'm a business owner myself, and I don't want somebody, we clean houses. I have 6 girls that go in and out of houses. I told them to wear a mask, because of their protection and because of the people. I was losing jobs because of fear, and so they wore masks. And now they still wear masks if they want to. We go into a house and I don't wear one, and they might wear one.
She's got the right idea. I haven't done it either to put it on. This is a psyop.
Yeah.
I am a victim of psyop. I'm reluctantly complying to make you feel better,
Yeah.
not to make me feel better.
Well, mine's made out of a mesh, and you can hold it and see right through it.
Yeah, drywall tape.
I sat right there in the airport and took my little bottle of water that had a little sprayer thing on it, and I just took it and I didn't remove the mask, and I just took it up here, squirted it in my mouth, put it back down, you know, I don't care, you know, I'm wearing a mask, you know, but anyway, so with this here, on the weekly Zoom is moving, but this is an old one, but if you were to get into, I'm trying to get we have a monthly or a weekly newsletter that's sent out to all people who belong to People's Rights. When you get that letter, it's just awesome. It's really awesome. It's got a place to click on where you can go to and read about the camp out. You can click on to go find out about the parade. You can click on it for whatever thing and where the Zooms are. So here is the Zoom one, and it's just showing. Wait, what did I do with that? Okay, so here's the Zoom. So you want to read more. And then it goes in here and it shows who's going to be speaking that day. And that day we had a lady who came in and taught about the jab or the shot, the COVID shot. And she told about it. She had one in her house prior to that. And it was really good, a lot of good information. So if you'll go to your Zoom, and you do not have to be a member to get on Zoom, you have to know a member. Because you gotta have the numbers to get in. And I can give you that right now, if anybody wants to get on the Zoom Tuesday night, Monday night this time. We have Randy Miller talking. So the number to get in on that, you would go into Zoom, join, and then you would put in the number, bring it ahead, 859-1554-2482. And then the password is capital P, capital R. But you can do this, you don't have to be a member to go into Zoom and to get in and see what we're doing. And I encourage you, if you don't get into People's Rights, get on the Zooms. You've got to become educated, informed, and be able to stand together and help each other. Yes?
Is that the same Zoom number for every Zoom meeting, or just that particular meeting?
He's asking, is that
The
yes,
same.
I live it. That, it is for this meeting for all of Arizona.
Yeah, it's the same number every week.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's all of Arizona now. We have one that you can go to that's for Texas. We've joined with Texas. And so when Texas has something really awesome, we go in with them.
We have the number again, please.
The number is 859-1554-2482. The password is capital P, capital R,
People's Rights, PR.
P, People's Rights, capital P, capital R. You know, I encourage you to do this, yourself. I encourage you to get as many people on. If there's an emergency, when there's an emergency, when something happens, do you want to be the only person to know how to take care of that situation? We need for a lot of people to know so that one person could be taking care of this part of the situation, another person could go here and take care of that. We need all the people who will get into this and help us out. As many people in your neighborhood that that can at least do that. So you can't go out and help, or you can't go out and defend, but you can do a lot of stuff. And we encourage that. We encourage that you get as many people onto Zoom. We invite good guest speakers on, and we like to have it loaded. We can have up to 100 people. When it gets bigger than that, we will find another way. So let's go out of this area news, but in the newsroom, what I like is that you can go into the public news.
What night did you say Zoom would be?
Well, Zoom has been on Monday nights, but they're talking about moving it back to Tuesday. This week it's going to be on Tuesday, but if you watch your newsroom for your area news, you'll get all that update. If you're a member, you will get an email with it, and then you'll know everything. If you're not a member and still choose after this great speech and all this encouragement, which would be really dumb, right? No. If you choose not to, then we encourage you to reach out to somebody else who is and ask, what day is it and why is that? And once they find you're interested, they will always, hopefully, forward you the same info. That's what I do.
What time is it usually?
This week, it starts, 7 to 9, yes, and it's Randy Miller. Now, when this Arizona audit started, we got people saying, if you know anybody that's good with guns, that can go and help defend and stand guard for that audit, we're looking for that. Well, we thought about it for a bit. We didn't want to be another January 6th. We didn't want to be set up. So Randy Miller called in, and it's a group that I'm not aware of that we have that's like a sub-police type, and we'll find out more on Tuesday night about what it is, everything. So he is going to come in and talk and tell about what they do. He'll probably even tell a little bit about the audit. There's just all kinds of information. I was going to go back a bit, but I don't think I need to. So people's rights is about claiming our rights. It's about using our rights and defending our rights. But let me ask, if you don't know what your right is, if you don't know that this is truly your right, are you going to claim it? You certainly won't use it, and you'll never defend it. We cannot stand by and let them take these things away from us. We have a duty to God, to our country, and to our children to stand here and defend and to be able to take our country back. So I encourage you all to learn and to become educated, and through Zoom, I cannot stress enough how important that is. It is so important. I hope to see it. You guys have looked at, I'm watching all of your faces so that I know who gets in on Tuesday. And then also we have potlucks, and we have that once a month. And we used to have it always in the same place. We decided that we would move it from area to area. So we have moved it out to, we moved it to Cave Creek this last week. We've had it in Mason, we've had it in Phoenix, in Tolleson. This next one is going to be in your area. It's going to be in, it's outside of Lakeside Pine Top area, but before Eager. And we're going to have a great big camp out. I am a member of the Sheepdogs. I've been camping with them for 10 years. We teach classes, so all day long, there's like 2 to 3 classes. And the classes can range on, possibly like this time, I'm going to teach a class because of my experience yesterday of my husband who definitely had every stroke symptom, everything. I mean, laying in there, couldn't say nothing, he was looking at me. What do I do? Well, I went to work and I got the cayenne pepper out, and I'm not going to go in into all that because if you're really interested, I'm going to be teaching it in the camp out. You can come down and learn. You can bring your RVs, you can bring your trailers. I bring a tent, a cot, and a pad, and we camp out. We have a little portable potty. We have a portable potty, and we encourage everybody to bring one. However, I will set one out that the people that come in and just join through the day can use. But these classes range from, I'm telling you, everything from what I'm going to teach about what I do with my husband. I'm going to teach how to make tinctures. And then I would like to leave one on restoring a battery, your car battery. But that's all about being prepared. If we know our car batteries will go out in 2 months, 2 years, 3 years in Arizona, why don't we take our batteries out and clean them? Why don't we clean them and then put a charge back on them and put them right back in our car? Do the camp out if you want to learn. Just a little bit of lead-ins. And we have a dinner every night. So every night you meet at the big tent and you bring a potluck. You bring something to share. But if you don't have it, we encourage everybody to be there anyway. But then we eat like kings. The food is the best. I mean, the food is just unbelievable, and it's the biggest smorgasbord if you've ever gone to it, and it's just awesome. So breakfast and lunch you're on your own, but at nighttime we're going to have that, and that's going to be our next potluck. Will be June 26th, and the directions are on the back of your flyer. If you don't want to stay at the campgrounds, there's motels you can stay in. If you know anybody up that way, Terry lives up that way, just call him.
Good luck, Terry.
No, he'll be at the campground, hopefully. But anyway, so that's on the campout, and I hope that we see some of you guys up there, whether it's for the whole time. It's going to be June the 29th, 6th through July the 5th. And on July the 3rd, I don't know how many of you have ever gone to Eager and gone to the Eager parade. We went last year. It was the most awesome parade I have ever seen. The most patriotic, the best. It was just awesome. And they throw water balloons and just really fun. And so I have applied to Town of Eager, and we are looking for some horseback riders to lead us. And then the rest of us are going to march behind, carrying our signs for my freedom, for my whatever it is that you're standing for. We're going to be carrying our signs, and somebody's going to be pulling a wagon, and we're going to be throwing water balloons right back. So we hope that you can even make it for Saturday the 3rd and come down and be in the parade. I think you guys will love it. You know, to whatever part you want to take, whether you want to just come in and just take classes for a day. The site for that is also on the flyer. That's the wiki site. If you go into the wiki site, it will give you, you have to go in there and sign in, and it tells you what to use to sign in. Then if you want to teach a class there, you put what the name of it is and all that stuff. And we encourage everybody that has whatever to teach, it doesn't matter, to bring it in and share. That's the way we learn, and that's the way we grow strong, and that's the way we can stand together. And I think I have covered, oh, I know what I think I didn't go. I didn't go all the way in here. Let's go here. So in resources, see they have where you can prepare, education, ham radio. We're really big on ham radio. That's one that you can put a person in your area as a field assistant to become a ham radio operator so that you have a way to communicate. We know that if you have a ham radio and you know how to use it, that's the big thing. If you know how to use it in a time of emergency, you can still, call out on it. But how much better would you be if you know how to use it and you have your license, you have your ham radio, 2 of them, because 1 is none, 2 is something. But if you have your ham radio, so that's your resource on ham radio. They got materials. I use this all the time because the cards that you got today, I went down here to the cards that show the picture for some reason or another. But anyway, okay, it's slow, it's Terry's computer. Just blaming on you. Anyways, but anyway, that's what you do is you just download the sheet of cards and then just put it on cardstock and cut it out. It's a little bit of work though. I think that next time I will have mine ordered and not have to try to line that up and cut a bunch. But anyway, see, so you can do this. You can get your cards. You can pass cards out. Every time you see somebody in a store without a mask, it's getting to be more and more now, but every time you see somebody driving down the street and they've got a flag on their car, they're like-minded people. Don't keep your mouth shut. Share. Share, share, share. So then the resources go into assistance training, and that is really good too. So you have a lot here you can do with this. They tell what an area assistant would do, a state assistant, and a field assistant. You know, a field assistant would just be an expert in one thing. So we're trying to organize communities of safety right now. So if we know somebody in our area that is really good at organizing that, at coming up with the ideas of what we want to do, so that when something happens, how are we going to notify each other what's happening? How do we notify somebody that it's not safe to come down your street right now? So this is what we're doing, is we're working really hard for the ham radio and to become set up communities of safety. Then here's your rights, and it goes into telling you what they are, maintaining them. Messages, they go into that, and you can get your messages. I won't do that because we don't need to home. And then, but anyway, I invite everybody to go into people's rights and check in often. You know, find out what's going on. Find out, you know, go here to the newsroom, go to public. I like to know what Alan's doing. I want to know exactly what's going on. When the news says that he refused to wear and he didn't show up for his court date, he was right there. But you can go right in here and you go right up here to Idaho, and you can find out what Idaho's doing. You can go in and find out what Florida's doing. Oh my gosh, Florida's rocks.
Yeah.
So they do, don't they? So this is something you can do, and if you go into their stuff and you see that they're calling for a call to action and they need help, then there's no reason we can't go in and help them. Whether it's sending a letter, making a call, let's do it. Now, they also have right here, I don't want to leave out this area action. Wait, no, that's not right. Newsroom, let me go back. So right here, help out. So you go to help out, they go in here and they show you how many states, how many areas. Now, 2 months ago, I like to report how big we are, how much we've grown. So 2 months ago, we were at 45,400 something. So that's how much we've grown in 2 months. This is a new thing that's just started, I think, in January. And so we're building, and we need everybody's help to build and to get it done. And then right here, they got help out. And this shows you where you can donate to help them, because they do need money. The system costs them money. Every time we send out emails or texts, and we have found that texts work the best. When they come to your phone, you're going to check them. When they come to your email, you don't always check them. So it does cost. And so you can help in that way. And are there any other questions here?
I have a comment.
Okay.
Well, should anybody ask you for your vaccine, people don't know that you don't have to give it. It's in violation of the law.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that was going. Yes. Of course, that would sit right in with the HIPAA or with the Civil Rights Act of 1964. I'll get back over here for you, Terry.
It's all right.
So it would stand in with both of those. But as far as I'm concerned, there's enough information out there that I hear from my girls that work for me that went and got shot for her mother, and how her mother's heart's enlarged, how all this stuff is happening. I mean, there's enough evidence out there that now that I think we can stand. Yes.
Comment, I'm pretty sure everybody here knows it, but I'm used to interacting with people who don't know it. You covered it at the beginning, the rights are unalienable rights from God. I think everybody here knows it. You just want to make sure they're from God. It's not a privilege given by the government. Gee, we like, we don't like you. It's our right, God-given right. And then with that in mind, one nation under God, it'd be nice to have a spiritual side to tie it all together, even though there's all kinds of denominations. We're going to argue forever on that, but it'd be nice if there was a spiritual attribute in here. I mean, have a Bible studies or something like that.
God is the reason that we have this country. You know, so I was trying to remember, go back to your first, when you asked about there's a God-given right, you just answered the question, become an AA. So you need to get on there, sign up for AA, and that is the answer. That is the answer. So I encourage you guys to become active in one way or another, whether it's to become educated and ready to be able to stand, because the knowledge, if you have knowledge, you don't have fear. If you're not prepared, you have fear. So I encourage you all to get on the Zooms and to learn and to become educated and to be able to teach your neighbors the same thing. And so with that, I think I'm finished unless there's any other questions.
I enjoyed your presentation, but you're talking about people's rights, and you never once mentioned the Constitution of the Bill of Rights. How much does your organization emphasize our constitutional rights? Because if you don't know your rights, you don't have any rights. You don't have any rights, you don't know your rights. So could you explain as to, you didn't mention it, I think you should.
I think it's obvious that if the Constitution is this country, right? If we stand for this country, I mean, you tell me we are not lovers of the Constitution. We would not know our rights. You're right, there are no rights. And if we don't know those rights, you're right, we won't defend them. We are all belong in the Constitution. We really encourage when you give out cards that you don't just pass them to just anybody, because we are about God. Because God is our first defense. You know, our guns for us are our second defense, but we are going to put first everything we can to God's hands. You know, so yes, we believe in God, and we also believe in the Constitution. And I'd like to believe in every person that has their name on there, that whenever that 911 or SOS call comes out, that you guys have my back. People like you that will show up at a meeting like this are the people who will show up at the SOS calls. And we need all of you people in whatever capacity you can, do. I encourage you to get in.
Question?
Yes.
I don't have a lot of experience in organizations, government, so to speak, but have you found moles, so to speak, inside this organization? So, because I would expect to find people in there that are working counter to the program organization. Have you witnessed anything like that?
No, I haven't.
Okay, that's good.
I mean, when you talk about Ammon and about the last stand and where the lieutenant was shot, the car that was following him in was a mole. They had the government or whatever the agency had put in a mole in there, and he backed out before they went into gunfire because he knew what was coming down. He said, "Stop! I'm getting out. I don't want to be killed." And that we know exactly why. I mean, the stories are endless. I think Holly shares the stories because her sister is Shauna Cox. She has taught me these classes, and she was in the car. So we get to hear firsthand these stories. So thank you guys.
All right, folks. There are a couple others that wanted to say a few words. We can probably do that right now. Pat, you want to have your moments? Sure. Hang on.
So she just asked me, are any of the Zoom classes recorded? Yes. We always ask the person presenting if they care if we record it. So if you were to go into the area news and then you go in there, all of it will be there. Anything that's there, it'll be there. And if it's not in there, but it's someplace else that Holly's got it, then she will send it out in your newsletter, and then you can go in there and you can go and watch the whole thing. But I can't stress enough, you're losing out. Either way, you are absolutely losing out if you don't get on the Zooms. I had no hope that we would ever be able to stand against what's coming until the Texas radio man got on there and told us, you don't go up there, you don't go fight the hospital board, you can't do that. You go in and you take them from the bottom, and you don't tell them what you're doing. You don't warn them. When you go get it, you get it. So you can go in there and watch some of those, but there's a lot of good things.
All right, Pat. Gotta hold it a little bit close. Thank you, folks. Most of you folks know me. My name is Pat Schwing. I've been coming to the Breakfast Club since right after 9/11. As a matter of fact, I think I've probably been to more Breakfast Club meetings than anyone except for Frank Rickey, who was a great friend of mine. As a matter of fact, Frank called me up here for over a year, maybe close to 2 years. He lives right near me. And I had a little bit of a problem with traffic. So Frank drove me up here for, like I said, maybe 2 years. Great guy. And then a couple of years ago, Frank's health started failing. And he said he really couldn't continue driving up here anymore. I said, Frank, that's okay, I drive. I'll drive us. And he said, sorry, I'm just not up to it anymore. So he didn't come with me. And then I found out from Terry that he had passed away recently. I was very sad. He's a great guy. Just a great guy. Terry said that he gave me a few minutes to talk about a cause that's very important to me, and that's 9/11 Truth. I first heard about 9/11 Truth within a few months after it happened because I started coming to the Breakfast Club and became educated and studied. I studied the subject for at least a couple of hundred hours, maybe 300 or 400 hours. And I know some of the guys of the movement who have studied for thousands of hours. And I'm convinced that it was an inside job. I'm a man of science and truth, and I believe it was an inside job. Me and some very, very great friends of mine, some of you folks know people like Mike Schoen and Rick Foltz and Steve Cohn and Ed Vallejo. They're involved in helping organize a demonstration or street action for 9/11 this coming year. As a matter of fact, it's probably going to be both 9/11 and the next day, Sunday, September 12th. We're going to try to have a dry run the prior weekend before that. I think that's the 5th and 6th. And we're hoping to have scores, if not hundreds of people out. We're going to have some signs and banners at a giant freeway intersection. I'll give you more information later if you're interested. Mike Schoen is also helping to finance a movie about 9/11 that's supposed to come out right before 9/11. Mike's just a great guy. I'm going to pass around, well, I'll finish up here. I'm going to pass around a clipboard. If you could, please put down your name, phone number, email, if you have any comments. This is going to be used by me and our group to contact you folks to help us get the word out. I don't expect a lot of you folks to come out in 115-degree heat in September, early September, and hold a sign. I'm not asking for that. It would be great if you did. If you can, that's okay. It's all right. But you know people. I'm asking anybody that's interested in helping, please do so simply by getting in touch with me and asking what kind of a notice or announcement. I prefer that you send out. I'll send one to you. You edit it, send it back, we'll agree on it, and then you can blast it out to your email contacts, your social media contacts. That's basically what I'm asking for here, is to just get involved in some way. Again, it doesn't have to be out in the heat.
more importantly, you probably have, people in this room, I would venture to say, collectively, have well into the tens of thousands of contacts via email and social media, and that's what I'm asking for. We have all kinds of materials that we can refer you to. I actually have physical pamphlets that I can give you. There is a new video that's just come out in the last few months. It's called 7. It's 45 minutes long. It's about building number 7. Half of America's never even heard of building 7 until you tell them about it. I passed around earlier this page right here. It's two-sided. It's got a little bit of information about a presentation many years ago in 2008 by a good friend of mine, hardcore truther, Blair Gadsby, great guy. On the other side, I have a note about me and my efforts to try to do good things for our community, our nation, and I'd really like any help that we can garner. If you have any questions at all, please come up to me later. If you did not see a piece of paper that looks like this, please ask me. I've got plenty of them. Any help at all would be greatly, greatly appreciated. I'm counting on Keith to get involved. He's been involved in the past. I know a lot of you people here, and Russ Wittenberg was on to 9/11 Truth before almost anybody even heard of it. I'm counting on Russ to help me out some. So please, if you can, sign the clipboard, sign the sheet on the clipboard that's going around so I can get in touch and keep in touch, keep you informed about our announcements. Even if you can't come out, even if you're not interested in helping with the social media, you may have ideas about planning and organizing our events. Again, all help we can get, any help we can get would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Are you getting help from the Democrats?
I have some very, very liberal friends that, yes, they are helping me. Is there something wrong with that?
I'm not defensive.
I'm sorry, sir?
You said, is there something wrong with that? So I said, I'm not defensive.
Okay. Any questions?
All right, now, way to go, man.
Thank you. Keith, you have a question?
I'm gonna say, Bolin.com has some of the best 9/11 stuff.
I'm sorry?
Bolin.com.
Who?
Bolin, Christopher Bolin has some of the best stuff. B-O-L-L-Y-N.
Christopher Bolin. You've told me about that before. Christopher Bolin?
Yeah.
B-O-L-L-Y-N?
Yes.
Christopher Bolin.
It might be good to introduce this website with materials just to get people to get up there and look. You spend about an hour on that site and know exactly what happened.
Great. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Keith, I'm counting on you, buddy. Counting on you. Any other questions? Any other comments? Thank you very much, folks. Thanks for showing up. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Counting on Terry helping out a lot too. He's a good friend.
There we go.
Yeah, okay, Russ has a couple things, I believe. He's got some stuff to pass out if you want it.
Only if you want it. I was going to talk about a couple things. Pat brought up something which I wasn't expecting, and the 9/11. And as you may or may not know, I'm a retired airline captain with both Pan Am and United, and I was a Vietnam era Air Force pilot, and I flew pilot in command, that is captain, on both of the two actual United aircraft, which were in 9/11. One was a 757, the other was a 767, and the tail numbers for November and for November 591 and November 612 UA. And 591 went into Shanksville, and another aircraft went into the second tower. And I, along with Eric Huffstedt, started the 9/11 Truth movement by writing a book called Painful Questions 9/11, which I think even till today is one of the best documents that ever came out explaining how 9/11 was an inside job. But anyway, here, I didn't come here today to talk about that. I wanted to talk briefly on two other items. Lord knows there's dozens of items I could spend the rest of the day talking about. But I'm going to zero in on two. Unless you lived in the lead-lined cave on the back side of the room with the back door on it, I think you should understand that we're in greater danger today than we were on December the 8th, 1941. For those, like Rush used to say, for those who lived in just in Rio Linda, that's the day after the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. Now, why is that so? Because back then, December the 8th, we knew who the enemy was. The enemy was external, and we know what they looked like. They wore a uniform. Today, our enemy is internal, and we're in greater existential danger today than ever before. There's a multitude of reasons why that's the case, but it's just insanity which is going on today on a massive scale. Never before in my lifetime, and I've been around a long time, folks, that as we've seen such a massive attack on things which are America. The left is attacking everything which is America. And one of the things, it's kind of like, you like metaphors? I love metaphors, because you can say a whole lot with metaphors. It's kind of like we're on the USS Titanic. We've hit the iceberg, the orchestra's playing, the water's reaching the boiler room, the lights are flickering, and all the lifeboats have been launched half full. And Sparks is in the radio room and he's sending off fanatical SOSs. And the SS Carpathia just is nowhere in sight. And the captain, Beijing Biden, and his first officer, Connie Harris, is up on the bridge. And they're screaming into the voice tube down to the engine room. They're saying, make the hole bigger to let the water out. And I think that pretty well says the whole thing. But here's what I want to talk about specifically. We have a little thing called crucial race theory. How many people have heard about it? Okay, good. Well, I have a good handout here from Infamous from Hillsdale College, which I subscribe to, and it was so good. I said, everybody I know has to get a hold of this to read it. So if I could get one of our charming ladies like Renee to pass these out here, I would greatly appreciate it. And what I'd like to do is have you get a copy of this, get one of these, and then after you read it, pass it around to as many people and friends as you know, because this is critical, folks. This is insanity which is destroying our country and our educational, or what I call our indoctrination system. The second thing I want to talk about is something that's going to be near and dear to your pocketbook. How many of you would like to save money on your electric bill? Okay, copy this down. Pen and paper, copy this down. If you haven't heard about it, it's called Miracle Watt. Miracle, W-A-T-T, like the watt. What this is a gizmo. It's about the size of a package of cigarettes. And go to this website, and I bought into this back in January. And I got 3 of these because of the size of my home, because of the square footage. And I plugged them in, and I forgot about them. My electric bill came out, and it was, and Renee has this image, she'll verify it. I should have brought it with me today, I didn't. I followed it. You can see it. The last 4 months, I have paid 1 red cent for electricity. My bill is $27.58 a month. That involves just federal and state taxes and fees. So if they want to cut you, now it works for me. I'm not saying it's going to work for you, but it works for me. Look into it. I'm not selling these things. I didn't know bad or anything like that. I'm just interested in helping people save money because we're facing an inflationary spiral down the road with these geniuses in Washington trying to spin us into prosperity, folks. And you're going to have to start thinking of ways to save your money because this country is going to be destroyed on a whole lot of things, and runaway inflation is going to be one of them. It's going to be one of them.
About how much are they?
These run $35 each.
On the internet?
On the internet. Now, here's the way, basically, this is how it works. I can't tell you exactly how the little gizmo does, but all you do is plug it in. I got 3 of them due to the size of my home. And it goes on your square footage. But no matter what size your square footage is, after you take a look at the website, I would recommend at least 2, because what I did, you put one in the closest electrical outlet nearest to your circuit breaker, where the entrance, the electricity comes into your home. You take the next one and put it the furthest outlet from the electric entrance. And then you put one in between in the middle. From that down, what it does, now there's 2 kinds of electricity we know. We have AC and DC. You all know what DC is. DC current is a battery. AC current is what they call alternating current, 60 cycles per second and 110 volts. Now what happens, what this little thing does, I don't know how it does it, but I don't care. Your electricity, if it comes in, if you put it on an oscilloscope, you'll see that you have this is 1 second to here to here, 1 second. Within this distance, you get 60 cycles. Okay? And so if you put that on an oscilloscope, what you do is you find that it goes up and down like this, like a snake. Okay? Now, if you take that and magnify it, it doesn't really go like this, but it really goes like this. So what this thing does, it straightens out that static in these cycles. And for some reason, I stopped paying for electricity. And so, folks, I'd like you to take at least a look at it. I'm getting nothing out of this. I just like to help you save money because, folks, you're going to need it coming down the road here. We're facing a bunch of criminals what you're looking at here is right out of the old Communist Party handbook, the Department of Disinformation and Act Measures of the first Chief Directorate A of the old KGB, the sword and shield of the Communist Party. What you're looking at here, and too many people are afraid to say it, but I will. This has been a communist coup d'etat of the takeover of the United States government. So, if we don't start doing something here and resisting this, just like the communists who are running this country have done for the last 4 against Trump, we're going to lose this country as sure as God made little apples. And if they take away the filibuster in the Senate, and if they pass H.R. 1, the fat lady will sing and it's all over with because they have completed the communist takeover. So folks, we are really in deep trouble. Deep trouble. Like I said, we're in greater existential danger today than we were on December 8th, 1941. Do you have any questions? Yeah.
Russ, I don't have a question. I'd like to make a comment. Russ spoke at my Strategic Edge Business Alliance meetings. Les attended a bunch of them. Russ gave at least one great presentation. He's a wealth of knowledge about all kinds of things, including technical stuff.
Let me add something to that. I asked you a long time ago, Russ, I said, what's the one question you can ask somebody to get them thinking about it? I don't make any claims on anything. I don't know what happened on 9/11 and nobody else does either. The only thing I'm absolutely 99% sure of is the official version is a lie. Yeah, that much I'm pretty sure of. But I don't know what happened on 9/11. I wasn't there. But he gave me the answer that we all need to ask people, and you brought it up on the video today. He said, ask them about Building 7. And invariably the response I get from building on that question is, what Building 7? I didn't know anything about Building 7. And that seemed to be the one question, and I got it from Russ, that seems to be there. Lanes go into the building, I don't know if the tapes are gone, I don't know. All I know is what we all saw on TV 1,000 times. We all saw on TV, if you were paying attention, Building 7. We saw it.
And the pandemic was put up on IPFS, so they can't take it down. Ernie announced that. I've got the IPFS link on my website. Let's see. Right there's the original movie. Ernie put up pandemic on the IPFS servers. So they can't control it. It's not like YouTube can take it down.
Within pandemic.
Right. You can find it. I've got links right here. If I click on that, it should go and load the movie, but it's a little slow in here to load. But, yeah. See, if you go to mailaz.com, that's my Mail Arizona. Right here's the link back, MailAZ. And I've got COVID-19 page and a cryptocurrency page I'm starting to build. And news items, when I find something I posted, Dr. Medjev, whatever her name is, I can't pronounce it. I've got her videos in here, and the America's Frontline Doctors information, and those videos are posted here on the COVID-19 page. So, a lot of information, so much information. You can spend hours and not get through it all. Yes.
30 seconds on the clock.
You can do that. I want to tell you about, take 30 seconds of your time to tell you that little human interest story, which is a true story. I'm not making this up. When I was with Pan Am, I had a trip from Honolulu to Manila. And that's about a 10 and a half, 11-hour flight. And I was flying a 747, and the flight attendants were all based in Honolulu. This is key. And so these, about an hour before time, about 4 flight attendants came up to the cockpit, and we had a 3-day layover in Manila because it was 2 flights a week. The crew that's sitting there, they've been sitting there for 3 days, and then we get to sit there for 3 days. So about an hour from Tom D, 4 flight attendants came up, and we started talking. I asked them, I said, well, what are you going to do with your 3-day layover in Manila? And they said, oh, we're going to go shopping. And I said, well, okay, look, you want to do something really interesting. Why don't you get on the hydrofoil and go across Manila Bay and go to Corregidor? They said, where? I said, Corregidor. Corregidor? I said, yeah, you know, the tip of the Bataan Peninsula, the Death March, you know. And then, you know, the glossy-eyed, and didn't know what I was talking about.
Russ, what year was this?
About 20 years ago. Okay, and I said, now wait a minute. I said, you're based in Honolulu. Can you remember anything about what happened around December the 7th, 1941? And they said, no.
Oh, my God.
And it was serious. And I said, I'll tell you what, on second thought, just go shopping.
Yeah. Good shot.
Okay. Is there interest? I assume there is in continuing the Breakfast Club once a month?
Yes.
Everybody happy with the last that okay? I mean,
Yes.
it's really the best time for me to do it. I don't know that I can do it any other way. And meetings continuing through the summer, or do we take a break?
Continue.
Anybody else? My plan is next month with Dr. Frank, and then we have July and August, pretty hot.
I think we better continue meeting.
Okay.
These times are too,
Well,
I mean, like Russ, he's right on the button, man. I mean, we're on the brink of it.
we can see if I can find it again. Let's go down here
If you
to.
can find it. Yeah, no kidding, buy lead.
Go back here. Mail AZ is my main site. It's a
While
big-
Carrie's looking for that, does anybody else need to sign up for information about helping the 9/11? Okay.
Okay, I try to maintain this website. It's provided free for the Breakfast Club, at least the hosting. And so when I know we've got an upcoming meeting, I'll put up at least a notice about it. If I don't have speaker information, at least there'll be a notice of when it's going to be. I think our format, I get here around 7 and set up equipment, sometimes the night before and arrange furniture. But 8 to 9 for breakfast, 9 to 11 roughly for speakers, and then we need to be out of here by noon. The restaurant has not had the use of the room at all because everybody's staying away now since the normal things stop. So we have no trouble setting the calendar. So I'll get with the manager and we'll reserve the room through the end of the year, and we can decide as we go forward what we're going to do. As I said, Frank Tamburi said he would be here next month. We can probably ask a number of other people. I don't know if my contact information right here. That's my old mailing address, but that's about it. There we go. My phone number is the same. You can text me or call me if you have an idea for the speaker. I need to have to change batteries, so we need to end soon. Anyway, I do keep that up there, and I do see that I need to update it. I thought I did, but I may not have uploaded the page. The websites that I've been doing, manlaz.com. My wife attended a Sunday school class, and I told her, well, you know, with COVID, they all had to wear their masks, and they couldn't come to church. Yeah, right. Anyway, I posted their Zoom meeting audios for them, so that's why that says Faith Seekers there. I made a page and posted all the audios of their Sunday school class. In any event, I won't get into my opinion on it. The MailAZ, this is my old MailAZ site. It's not really a site. It's got links on it for different things. It's not, I keep a link there so I can get to it. So we'll plan on last Saturday of every month, do the same thing.
Right on.
Well, see, I'm going to try to find the wireless mics. I know that Mike O'Connor had those. He says he's not going to be here to do video. I'm going to get it back from him. So it's a little easier with the lapel mic to try to hold this thing. So, anybody got anything else they want to talk about today? Yes?
I just wanted to briefly go over.
Yeah?
Speak up a little bit.
All right. Anything to fill time?
Try not to make it boring. Good seeing everybody again after all this time. I just wanted to briefly go over some observations I've made over the last year, and I want to keep it real brief, we're all probably tired. But when we didn't have the time to come here, we had a lot of time to sit on our bunch of research. So I've done quite a bit of research, and I want to give a reason why I hand out the flyers I do and the information I do hand out. And what I found is, what I believe is going on, I think a lot of you do too, is that we live in a communist revolution. It's got 1,000 different faces and names and all this, but it's all communism. It's all man not having self-determination replaced by the great leader at the top of the pyramid or whatever. So, because I look at all this stuff as alternative forms of communism, I'm digging deep into the philosophical connections of what's going on. And I've done this research, and of course I'm not going to go over today. This is kind of some of the research I've done on this. And what I'm finding is this is very philosophical. philosophical. It's not politics. It's a death cult. It's a belief that humans need to die. And all these people that promote all these things we're constantly fighting, it's never ending. 9/11, COVID, whatever. They're just interested in you die. And this philosophy comes from way back, but this is a recent one. 1666 is a rabbi named Levi came up with a concept called redemption through sin. Not redemption from sin, like Paul was raised in, but redemption through sin. The more evil and hurt you can give another person, the faster their phony, whatever, Messiah will come back. He's the one that created the Baphomet, which is really, this is kind of the core of all the, bunch of the societies that we learn about today, you know, Illuminati, Bohemian Grove, Freemasonry, all these different things come philosophically from this. And someday, maybe in the fall, I could give a presentation of these pictures, because they're just endless. But what I found is the communists, or the left wing, or whatever, they have been boarding their kids so much, they have a problem in the United States of America and Europe. So imagine the Earth being about this big around. There's two little spots on this big old Earth that our Creator created that have Western civilization. The United States of America and Europe. And they hate these places worse than the others because those two places in Western civilization fight back. And so they are trying to constantly dilute Western civilization, and they have 1,000 different ways to do it. They brought in the Planned Parenthood, the feminist movement, abortion, all that, to try to get rid of these two spots. So since they aborted some of their kids, and their little programs going to the little hair store and they wanted, their newest thing is what Russ handed out, this critical race theory thing. And so eventually, if you're an anti-communist like I am, you're going to have to look into, philosophically, the race thing is how they're going to try to bring in this communist philosophy. And they're going to do it by bringing people that have no concept of freedom and that will vote 80-90% Democrat into these two little spots and just dilute it to nothing. And so that's why I hand out the flyers I do. I'm not a racist, even though I handle a lot of stuff talking about race. I think all of from my research, I found that all the religions are involved in this death cult. All of them. I'm talking major parts of it. I can prove it with all these papers. The Pope's in it, the Graham's in it, they're all, you know. So, anyway, that's why I hand out the flyers. I will continue to hand them out. I'm not looking to hate another race. I'll write stuff. I have stuff about Jews up here. I don't dislike a good Jew at all. Many of them are my friends and always will be. But I am against Talmudism. I'm against Zionism with a passion because it's communistic. But I'm against a lot of what's going on in the mainline religions too. The mainline denominations are pushing the same agenda. I got pictures of them doing the hidden hand and all the other little symbols that all these people do. They use the symbols to show you what they're related to. So anyway, that's the purpose of the flyers. So when you see them, it's about preserving Western civilization, being anti-communistic, and not being able to be afraid to take on the crucial subjects and the hard things to talk about today. We can't hardly talk about critical race theory anymore. I'm going to continue. It's probably one of the few ways we're going to preserve what we have. Thank you.
Lots of things. All right, well, we can kind of wrap it up, and I'll get the equipment put away so we're out of here before noon. And if there's nothing else, anybody else got anything they want to say? Okay. Oh, yes. If anybody didn't pay the $5 and you want to, we've probably got some change now, so we can do that up here afterward. And the purpose for that is if we have a group that they don't sell at least $150 worth of food, we have to pay $150 for the room minus what everybody's paid. So if 5 people show up, we're not going to make it. But we're covered today, we're fine. And I collect the money because we use it in the future. When Michael came and did video, whatever we had left, I gave to him. And he did a lot of work on those videos. If you go to YouTube and see the ones that Michael did, mine are pretty bad. That little camera is okay, but it doesn't do like the $25,000 camera did. Anyway.